Today's transmission: become the main character. Embody main character energy in the movie of your life. God has given you your own movie. You are the hero. Unless you choose to be a side character, an NPC in the movie of your own life. If you want to be one of those characters that is on the screen for 5 seconds for a 2-hour movie, is actually present in the movie for 5 seconds in a way that is barely noticeable, then you can do that. And then you can go on and live the scripted dream that doesn't actually exist. In your office, in your avoidance, in self-neglect, in unactualized potential. You can do that. I've never really seen Spider-Man except when I was a kid, but you can stay Peter Parker working in an office all day with an angry boss. Or you can become the main character of your own movie. God has written a divine mission, a divine script, a divine blueprint, a divine purpose for you. And He wants you to choose it with your free will. All of the challenges that you face, all of the difficulties, all of the ways in which you feel stuck, all of the deepest pains, all of the traumas, these are all your opportunities to choose between your victimhood and then to become a side character in your own movie, or to choose to overcome with your yay-saying will in a Nietzschean fashion. And to become the hero of this movie, or at least to begin to become that hero. Now, in this movie of life, there are literal villains. There is literal primordial evil that needs to be confronted and contended with, as within, so without. This is not merely a three-dimensional reality. All of the sci-fi books, all of the sci-fi movies, all of the stories and tales and mythologies about angels and demons and spirits and forces that wish to completely destroy our world, they are present. These things are actually taking place in the three-dimensional, in the multi-dimensional. And there is an opportunity for each one of us in each of our, what is the word I'm looking for? Solipsistic, subjective experiences of reality, to become the hero of our own subjective experience, of our own solipsistic field of reality generation. And we have the power to alter reality, to heal the evils of this world. Perhaps there is a call to vanquish them, to destroy them, and perhaps that is what is necessary. But more importantly, to embody goodness, to embody love, to embody justice, to embody the will of the hero who faces his own darkness, who faces his own limitations, who faces the dragon, and either chooses to slay the dragon, that is, to destroy evil, or to ride the dragon, to integrate the shadow so that evil can play a more holistic part in this entire existence, and it can be less like a wounded child throwing a tantrum, and more like a healed child that's like, oh, I can just be at peace. Now, in my movie, in my life, I have lived with particular villains. There are certain villainous forces. The medical industrial complex, the petro-industrial economy, plastic, Silicon Valley, certain forms of falsification of reality, the deceiver, all kinds of villains, all kinds of enemies. On one hand, there is one very deep warrior energy that wants to come forth. When I hear that Yuval Harari, who wrote the book Sapiens as well as Homo Deus, I read those books a few years back, and my understanding of those books is they are attempts at rewriting our past, present, and future within the quantum structure of reality towards a falsification, towards a system of deceit, to write a history that didn't actually happen, to write a future that is not actually set in stone, as if they had happened and as if they were set in stone. Does that make sense? There is deceit fundamentally coded into his books that is trying to alter time itself, that is trying to alter the literal past itself by restructuring the quantum structure of reality and the quantum structure of the future. This person, who I hear is going to be put in charge of the WEF, if he is a person at all, is an embodiment of the villain. Where I'm like, dude, if you're going to try to falsify our reality, if you're going to try to manipulate the very quantum structure of reality towards negation, towards deceit, then I'm going to have to bring my sword of Christ and my sword of truth to write the true history and to write the true story in connection with the heart, not with a mind that is severed from its own source, and thus writing scripts and stories that deny the very source from which they came. So certain things, certain evils, certain villains need to be destroyed with a sword of light, with a sword of Christ, with a sword of redemption, with a sword of truth and of freedom. This man, Yuval, if a man he is just one of hundreds and thousands of vessels, human beings, who are disconnected from their hearts, who are consciously or unconsciously calling forth a system that is self-deceiving and externally deceiving. In a realm of multidimensionality, where the three-dimensional is not all that it seems. There is deep villainy here. There is a challenge. Here my hero must come forth to voice itself as a sword against these totalitarian attempts to control and to suppress human freedom. I feel like I have to be careful with my words on this platform. In face of such movements, of such evils, of such deceit, there's an opportunity to stay idle, to stay weak, to stay passive, to stay inactive. Or there's an opportunity to pick up your sword, to pick up your pen, to pick up the gift, your wand, which God has given you, and to become the hero of your life and of this world. To pursue something heroic rather than the avoidance, the consumption, the secondary scripts, which then banish your own will to meaninglessness, to complicit, to being complicit in the perpetuation of systems rooted in that deceit and in that evil. So, this is a choice. It's a metaphysical choice, and you have the power to embody it. That's the transmission for now. I have to go do my heroic, poetic typewriting to plant little seeds of freedom in the world. And right now, that is my hero's journey. And as my life develops, the seeds will bloom and they will proliferate. And the flower fields will expand. Right now, I have little poems. I have hundreds of poems dispersed across the world. Little scripts of reality. Just like Yuval Harari has a book that has scripted a certain form of falsity and deceit, I have little poetic butterflies that are each fluttering in their own lives, purifying reality, purifying individual hearts, each doing their works. Some people come to ask me for guidance with their poems, and then they have this poem that they can look to for guidance. Some people just ask me for a poem about love. Some people just ask me for a poem about dogs. Some people ask me about a poem about metaphysical orientation towards the divine. All of these poems have their own lives, and they are fluttering about, little spells which I have woven into reality, here to purify. Grassroots activations against totalitarian systems. And so, right now, that's where I'm at with my little scripts. And one of these days, when I am ready, when God feels that I am ready, then my voice will be amplified and it will reach stages that are higher, that are more impactful. And more ready to contend with the illusory powers that be. The true power is in your will and your will's ability to choose to become the hero of your own life. Do not be a secondary character in your own life, because that makes you complicit with the villains of this world. Become a hero. Save your inner child, save the children of this world, and be a warrior of peace and liberation. That's all for today. I'm off to write some poetry. Thank you.